Welcome to Thrones and Scones. It's your weekday morning podcast where we talk about Game of Thrones over breakfast. But it's Saturday, and fuck breakfast. Because we're here whatever time of the day we have deemed necessary. Meaning whatever time I woke up this morning and decided to frantically edit it because I didn't do it the night prior. Here it is for you, our Season 6 recap. Where we're going to go ahead and hit all the dang episodes, place Season 6 amongst our pantheon of seasons and see where it ranks and stacks up, talk about our favorite moments, talk about our least favorite moments, and the good Lord willing, talk about some dicks. Welcome. It's Tony, Hans, and Jeremy. Hello, friends. It is a pleasure once again to see your face. Jeremy, I think you must be staring directly at a very bright computer because you are glowing an angel.
I'm sitting below one of the recessed lights in downstairs, and I was like, holy shit, this is not flattering.
It's gorgeous, actually.
It's halo-ish.
It's beautiful. And these terrible webcams. Everything else is essentially out of focus because the light is just so contrasting. So it's just you and then the rabble behind you. It's really it's framing you quite well.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, no. So I was excited about this. I was interestingly this week. I do the occasional IGN website review and look at things because games are great. And
you go up on IGN and you're like, I review the website 4 out of 5 today.
4 out of 5 today.
You post that up on your blog.
They're doing these 5-minute summaries of seasons. So I think they did like through 1 through 4, and I was just like watching those on my lunch break. And let me just tell you, we crush it. Those 5 minutes do a shitty job of like anything, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so,
I believe it.
So fuck 5-minute reviews.
We're going to get so much done. And I bet you will probably be like right around 5 minutes as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much, we're 50-50.
We've got some stuff to get to today. I will allow you guys the lovely hand in deciding here. We can get right into the recap, or believe it or not, somebody dusted off their keyboard and sent us a goddamn email with questions demanding to be answered. So we can do whatever you'd like first.
I have so many questions about the email.
Can I ask if it's someone we know?
Well, so I'm going to get into that. There is evidence that possibly.
Okay.
But you got to decide whether you want that now or you want to wait for that little nugget.
I want it now.
I want it all. I want it all. I want it now. Here it comes. Actually, I've got to go to my email first. Then transfer to the Thrones and Scones email, which is thronesandscones@gmail.com, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Email some questions.
So here it is. All right. Do you want to touch on my problem with the email first, or the actual email itself?
I want to hear the email, and then let's go problems. Yeah,
just hit us with the email, and then we'll.
It's a little long.
Holy
That's
shit.
fine.
I'll read it to you. All right. Good morning, in quotations. Good quote-unquote morning, Tony, Hans, and Jeremy. I'm a huge fan of Thrones and Scones! Exclamation point. I'm a new follower of GOT. I'm just finishing up the final book and watching the show for the first time, keeping in sync with your podcast episodes. Parentheses, your spoilers are sometimes a huge bummer. In parentheses. Listen, I get it, but we warned you. This is your fault. We're happy to have you, but don't throw that on us.
I like how we're shaming already. Good. Yeah.
Don't act like we lured you in, saying like, no, it'll be fine. We said,
spoilers mean everything.
You should probably know what to expect. But I digress. I have a few questions for you all. Colon. She used a colon. This is an educated lady. Oh yeah, also it's a lady. All right, dash number 1. What is the thing you have found the biggest disappointment in Divergence from the books? The best improvement? Do you want me to go through all the questions, or do we want to tackle them one by one? There are 3 questions.
Wait, so is that 2 questions, or is that 1?
That is 1 question. It's 2 questions. It is 1 bullet point out of the 3.
Okay, so Divergent.
First, hold on, Hans. What is your?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't really have a divergence, but improvement, that it's not a book.
yeah, that's fair. I think that is the biggest divergence, is that they put it on screen, which is huge. Like, who would have ever thought?
Yeah.
Jeremy, what's your? Do you have a biggest disappointment or biggest improvement right out the gate?
Yes.
I have a disappointment. I'm working on improvement. I know there are some for sure.
My improvement, and this may be controversial, is the red wedding. Is that
Interesting.
I find that much more powerful in the show compared to the book.
That's right. You like the Talisa thing.
I like the Talisa thing because murdering a pregnant woman, holy fuck, like that grabbed you. And again, in the book, it's not that it's as it's because it's coming from Catelyn, and you kind of getting her thoughts during this, which you don't get the hysterical kind of tone as much. I mean, you get like this absolute gore, but it is so much more powerful with Talisa dying there, with Robb seeing that, crawling over, watching just this massacre, and knowing that he had every ability to stop it and made that decision to do it, including watching his unborn child. I think that was improvement is a hard word for me to argue, because I feel like it added so much more emotion to that scene, and then subsequently has made the next kind of like the way the things fall out, Arya's storyline. It kind of made those things seem much more powerful for me.
Yeah.
Compared to the book.
Yeah. I like that. I think that's a good. I think that's a solid choice.
I do too. I actually have a biggest disappointment from the books to the show. Now that I've thought about it, and it's
gonna be super interesting to me.
It's the Jaime Lannister rape.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. I was going to put that as my biggest improvement, but
let me just scratch that out.
Yeah, that's a solid. I'm not saying he doesn't have his issues in the book, but nothing near that. The biggest improvement, I think, for me, and I think that it's always good if you can take a character that I'm not necessarily super invested in, and develop it more. And if you can do that in a show or a movie better than a book, I think that says a lot. So the Sansa thing with Ramsay, or Sansa, I've been noticing that I've been saying Sansa recently. The Sansa thing with Ramsay, not in the books. Granted, we're not quite there to all the stuff yet, but they marry a different person to Ramsay. So it's a different thing. I like that they kind of brought back Sansa. It was a good way to tie her into the North. It was a good way to kind of round out her, like, I don't want to say sob story arc, but that's the word I'm going to use, and to kind of really cement her attitude going forward. So I like that. I will say that that's my biggest improvement that I can think of off the top of my head. Biggest disappointment is easy, and that's not including young Griff.
Who'd you say?
No.
Really?
Young Griff, yeah. The Targaryen kid is way more interesting to me than Victarion or Euron Greyjoy.
Yeah, no, young Griff, I would agree. I was thinking Victor. I knew obviously at this point it has to be some of the missing characters we're having, but yeah, and I don't know. I feel like the show, because I'm sitting here trying to think, if I never read the books watching the show, where are the giant empty plots for me, right?
Yeah.
Like, where are the holes where I'm like, God, you know what? They just never explained that well enough. And then I'm trying to think back to the book of like where they fill in so much more. I don't know, because I feel like a lot of like the Targaryen dynasty, their ruling and all those things and those kind of subplots, like the show mentions them. Besides the the king, they don't really do a good job, I think, of explaining that entire time. So I liked that in the book one way. I feel like that entire subplot really does. It's such a better. And again, we can always talk about that. Books in general do a really good job of laying out the history and those things in a much more, I would say, succinct manner compared to a show.
Yeah. A standout thing for me as well. And again, it's hard to say knowing that we're like 2 seasons ahead of the books at this point. So who knows what direction George R.R. Martin is going in. But Barristan Selmy is not dead in the books. And that's kind of a disappointment. He not that it wasn't a glorious moment, but it was sad to see him go.
Yeah, I think he deserved a better farewell, in my opinion.
And Hans, to this, I make the argument that they killed him to just make room for more Jorah. And this is like, yeah, bleh.
Yeah,
So
I don't
you can
like
thank your buddy Jorah Mormont for killing off Barristan Selmy.
I don't like that. I would have preferred to have Barristan than Jorah. And in all fairness, I do think Jorah's still a fine character. But
Yeah.
I have one more actually. My biggest improvement on the show compared to the books. Granted, similar to your last comment, Tony, we're not there yet in the books. So
Nor have you read them.
This
Or know what a book is.
We're not there yet. I'm in this circle now. Self-proclaimed. So it very well may happen and probably will happen in the books. But so far in the books, we have not seen Ed Sheeran.
That is true, actually, which is unfortunate. I do hope we get him soon. I hope he's a main character too. I hope they double down on that. Also, I can't wait till Monday's episode. We're gonna talk about Ed Sheeran. It's everything I've ever wanted. Okay. Anything to add before I move on to bulletin number 2 in this email that somebody actually sent to us? Hand to the old gods and the new.
No.
All right.
Yeah,
if you had to completely eliminate a character and their entire plot line, who would it be?
I really wish I wouldn't have made this Ed Sheeran comment earlier.
Tell you what, you don't even know his character's name, so I'm going to say that that's not an option. If you can't name him, it doesn't count.
Who do I think? I mean, there are a lot of characters you could remove in their entire plot line and really have like absolutely no effect on the story. Hot Pie, for example, right? I mean,
sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
That's to say he brings nothing to the show, which I think he has his merits.
No. He has his merits. I'm just saying that. I mean, who? So is the question asking who could I remove and improve the show?
It's just if you could remove a character, knowing that it would also remove any plot line that they have a hand in.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I wouldn't if you hated Tyrion.
Yeah,
You're a monster, and you wanted to remove Tyrion. You'd have to know that would probably shake up the whole thing and
right.
potentially change a lot.
I'm just trying to think if I'd like to change that question. Maybe that's just me being me, but. Could you remove someone and actually improve the show?
I'm sure you could. I was trying to think of a semi-big name. I know we talked the Sparrow stuff, but I think that does kind of round out Cersei's final transformation, her final form a bit. So it's got its purposes. My initial thought was Loras Tyrell. I think you could do the drama with Marjorie a different way without having to use him, and otherwise, what else is he kind of there for? I think you could make a point for Renly.
I was going to say Renly would be the first one to my mind, or someone in Karth.
Yeah,
I think I would pick a Greyjoy.
Any Greyjoy.
To be honest, I could
choice.
lose Yara. I could lose Theon. I could certainly lose Euron. So
yeah, exactly. I think I got it narrowed down to 2. Either Doran Martell, because you could take him out and it really wouldn't matter. True. Like if Ilaria just ran Dorne and you just set that up instead, the plot would be exactly the same.
Right.
You could still have the kid. You could still kill him if you want to do that. Whatever, sure. But it would be exactly the same. You don't need him.
The only thing that might be a little different is there's no way she would have let Jaime and Bronn leave Dorne.
Well, sure. Say she does. Say she's like she's planning already with Daenerys or something. You just introduce things a little bit earlier, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, leave." By the way, but then she also does kill. Cersei gets mad. She lashes out, and then Dany attacks. Like you could
sure.
frame it in a strategic manner.
I could see that.
My other vote is Miranda.
Ooh,
Ramsay's girlfriend. Because what did she do?
Right.
You could argue that she was the person that made Theon finally switch, but that's stupid and I think should be changed anyway. So how dare she be allowed to carry so much character weight? You could make a point for Rickon as well.
Lord of Bones.
You could make a point for him. Sure, it could have been any wildling. Official votes, though. I'm going to go for Doran.
Yeah, I think that's fine. He didn't really bring much to the table, in my opinion. I wonder if that's bold enough for us.
I'm gonna go Gilly.
That's pretty bold.
Bold.
You think so?
I'm just saying. I mean, to remove someone who yes, so Sam gets love and gets some sweet sex. Sweet sex. But he was already becoming a character making better decisions without her. I mean, you could argue he probably wouldn't have stabbed the White Walker.
Yeah, I think he'd be dead without her.
Yeah, so maybe that'd be interesting to see.
Well, but the White Walker might not have been around because it was after the baby.
Right. So then there you go. Yeah. So it would have been an interesting point. Otherwise, I would have said Yara. And I like Yara.
Do you think that the White Walkers can hear a penis? Let me explain. Where they take the babies is not very far off the camp. But the White Walkers come pretty instantly, and then when Sam and Gilly run away, he's there pretty fast, like the same night. But then, when Craster has like a baby girl, it's still going to cry. White Walker's still going to hear it. So can they hear the penis?
Maybe if they go there, if it's not there, they realize, hey, it's a girl. They move on.
Yeah, but then why would Craster could just like keep a boy if he decided he wanted to, and they would never know? I feel like...
Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of that, I really have no comment on that.
How could you make any further follow-up to that?
It was actually the third question in the email. Do you think White Walkers can hear a penis?
Oh, really?
It's not.
But, so have we officially decided? Is it proven that all the White Walkers look the same other than the Night King?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm. Like
I
identical?
mean, I haven't done any research since the fact that I made that claim. I know in the books, in the first book, when there's the scene with the White Walkers, it says something about, like, identical. So in the books, it's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look it up right now. White Walkers.
Yeah.
So, Hans, who did you say you'd remove?
I got to vote. But anyway, but first, quick on the White Walker thing. Because the other thing, too, is, like, maybe they just look a lot alike because they're primarily all Craster's kids.
That's a fantastic point. The Reddit comments are great. It's this guy asking, hey, why do you think all the White Walkers look so similar? And it says at some point, we know Craster offered them 99 sons.
Holy shit.
Jesus. So there are maybe a lot of White Walkers. I missed that whole thing. The first comment is, they all look alike to me. That's racist. Don't be racist. The next one is, that's racist. The next one is, white without an H, privilege. So why I took to Reddit to find a serious answer is beyond
Reddit is
me.
great. There's some witty people out there.
So I'm uncertain now at this point. You've stumped me. You've stumped me, buddy.
There's comments are just, some people are so clever.
Yeah.
I like to think that I'm kind of funny, and then I read some comments and I'm like, man, I'm not on this level at all.
How many times did they type that out, and how many hours did that 4-sentence comment take, though?
I don't know. I was speaking of just another hilarious comment. I was watching a video the other day. I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently some passenger bus drove across a bridge. And again, I don't know the full details. I only know what the headline of the video said, which could be true or not true. But nonetheless, it was this relatively small, like little suspension bridge over some pond or lake or something. And this bus is about almost the size of the bridge. Like you could barely, like he's almost touching the sides and the top of this little suspension bridge. And he starts rolling over it. And apparently, from what the video headline said, the bus was like over 3 or 4 times the maximum weight capacity of the bridge. Like it was not supposed to cross this little bridge. And I'm watching the video, and the entire bridge is like bowing as this bus is crossing it. And then So that's the video. Like, and I was expecting the bridge to like break or something based on how concerned people were with this. So then the comments are just going off about how terrible this bus driver is, and like how the weight limit and whatever, and the park service or whatever that this bridge was in, like rules and all this stuff, and just how insanely offended these comments were. And then there was just one little comment in there that says this, it has not, I can't remember exactly, I'll probably butcher it, but it said, I don't think it had anything to do with the weight of the bus. If you ask me, it's the weight of this dude's balls. That's what's blowing this bridge down. Funny stuff.
I have not seen that. I'm disappointed now, though, that it doesn't break.
Yeah, I was expecting just much more catastrophe.
Yeah. I'm also disappointed that it doesn't sound like, I mean, if that video is on any site you should be looking at, how did that count as porn at all? It's tantric porn. Oh. This might be the hardest question. Her final one here might be the easiest.
It was actually the bang bus.
And it was literally the weight of his balls. That's why they had to empty them. Anyway, what scone would you make to best represent the essence of Game of Thrones?
Blueberry.
It has to be blueberry, right? Like, we've given them so much representation. How could it be anything else? Unless I was trying to think like, okay, a little bit of bittersweet, but at the end of the day, you always come back for more. I don't know. I think I'd vote for blueberry because it's timeless. It's classic. It never really disappoints. Even when like I've had one bad quote unquote blueberry scone and it was still pretty good.
Yeah. And you could go back to it over and over again, like you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's
there we
good.
go.
That works for me.
Now, we've answered all of her questions. She says, love the show, a feminist, throner / sconer. So she's both.
Oh.
Kind of. Here's my problem with the email. Good quote-unquote morning, Tony, Hans, and Jeremy. I'm going to have you guys guess here because she misspelled one of our names. Who do you think she butchered?
I'm going to go with the obvious.
I'm going to go with
Was
Tony.
it Hans or was it Jeremy?
Jeremy's
the obvious guess.
I was going to say Jeremy, and she didn't put the extra E in there.
Correct.
Did she put the extra E in there?
But she did.
Oh, shit.
So she must know you. Her name is Olivia Dixon. Are you familiar with an Olivia Dixon? If you say no, and you are, you're about to lose a friend.
No. No, I know Olivia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, either this woman is stalking you or she knows you. Because no one, I'm not saying it's super weird, but no one's first guess is to put that extra
3
E in the
E's,
name.
No.
Yeah.
I know.
That E.
It's funny. So she's, sorry, I don't want to say too many things because I'll be, anyway.
Yeah, don't air her.
Yeah.
She's a throner.
She's a
and
throner
sconer.
and a
That's
sconer.
what counts here.
Yeah.
No, she did not misspell Jeremy's name.
Who'd she misspell?
She did not misspell Hans's name.
Oh, God.
And she put Toni.
Oh, my God.
Now, I don't know. I feel like we've probably brought this up, but maybe we haven't. I deal with this a lot on the radio. And that is people thinking that I'm a woman. Because that's the only reason you spell it Toni in every situation I've ever experienced in my life.
Okay, well, I have to make this argument. So there is a Tony also that as a colleague, and that's how they spell her name. So maybe in that, just typing the email because she's aware of this person, she just wrote it that way.
Or she just thinks you're a chick.
Yeah. Maybe we haven't set the record straight. Maybe people have gotten through 60, 70 episodes, wherever we're at, and they've just been like, oh, yeah, that broad, like...
Well, have you ever explicitly said that you're a man?
I shouldn't have to. I would hope. I shouldn't have to.
Is anyone's breath sweating like mine?
Maybe Maybe not. So I don't know. It could have been a miss. No judgment, Olivia. Literally, I deal with this on a weekly basis, and so I'm having a giggle at your potential confusion here. But either way, it's fine. I just think that we should establish going forward that I'm a manly dude. You know, I'm just one of the fellas.
I'm assuming she wrote this email after the bathtub story.
No, I feel like in the bathtub story I say like this is why my dad'll never love me as his son or something like. I feel like that, but maybe you're right. Oh,
I'm just happy we got some fan mail.
Absolutely. Thank you, Olivia, for your submissions.
Yeah.
We're sorry for all the spoilers making you a little bummed, but we appreciate you sticking around nonetheless.
But reading the books and watching the show, yes, that's awesome.
It's true. They were spoiling both.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I was fully expecting our first email to be something more along the lines of, you click on it, you open it, and then it just says, "You suck."
Yeah.
Or
we did. So I'm sorry. We did actually get one more email. I wasn't sure. I was just kind of going to deal with it on my own and look into it a little bit more. But here, let me pull it up for you real quick. It's a pretty good one. Account alert. Sex dating. Action required. Thanks for that. Something tells me that demands our immediate attention. I don't know.
Is that a real email we got?
It's just I pulled up my spam folder.
It says sex dating. That's what I want to know about. What is sex dating?
Do you not? Yeah, I don't know, right? And there was a lipstick emoji as well. I didn't know you could put emojis in the subject lines of emails.
Dude, have you been getting friend requests on PlayStation now? Like that are like
I was like a year ago from like all these random broads.
Yeah.
And by broads I mean respectful women, but they were like tits out, and they were like, "Hey, cutie." So
I just noticed that
they were bots.
I was I friended all of them, and I keep
I
responding.
accepted all of them, of course. Thank you again, Olivia, and tell your friends this guy's got a penis. Sorry.
Please tell.
Please. But that was good. If you would also like to maybe send us an email, get your questions answered. I mean, as we've established, we have so many to go through, but maybe, just maybe, it could happen for you. thronesandscones@gmail.com. Send an email off there, and we'll check it out. On to the recap. Guys, Season 6, it came kind of stronger than I expected. Season 6. Hit me like a ton of bricks, right in the face. Pow, right in the kisser. I'm a big fan. Gotta be honest.
Yeah, it was all right.
It was all right. I don't know.
Should we just end it there?
Yeah, I think we could just end it there, probably. I think we said 5 minutes, and we're at 30, so.
Yeah, sounds good. It was good. I mean, let's just be honest. The season could easily vie for the top. It has so many good. The beginning was great. I still feel like it's so strong in the beginning, just doing the things that build up to the end, but doing it in a less, I would say, boring way than some of the other episodes do.
It was pretty consistent. There were a couple, as any season has, a couple down episodes, but certainly not as much.
Right.
No, I thought
as the past couple seasons.
I thought it was fantastic.
Just thinking, we gotta do a little. Do you know like a super sad song? I got my death. My death.
Ooh, I can look up the list again of the top sad songs, or someone can submit one.
Where is my thing? Hold
Here,
on.
I'll pull up the list, and if someone comes up with one sooner, you let me know.
Okay, season 6. So many good things. So many people die.
This is R.I.P.
R.I.P.
This is a little R.I.P. Okay. How about "The Sound of Silence" by Simon and Garfunkel?
Perfect.
Or you could do.
Or
you could do. You done with R.I.P.?
Yes, you know me.
All right.
You know, so many people think that Disturbed wrote this song now.
No.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, did Disturbed do a cover of it? I'm assuming.
Yeah, a few years ago. It's actually very good. It's done. It's very cool. But yeah, everyone just thinks it's.
I mean,
their
everyone
song.
really thinks that these crazy metal. I mean, a lot of these guys have an incredible range, right? They have to be to scream that long. But yeah, I'm sure the guy's crazy.
All right.
Ready?
Season
Episode
6,
1.
Rest in peace.
Duran Martel, Tristane Martel, and then in Ep 2 we lose a lot of Boltons: Roos, Walda, and then newborn Balon Greyjoy goes down. Ep 3, let's see. Alistair Thorne, Ollie, and a couple other people from The Night's Watch. Ep 4, we lose Osha, and then all of the cows. Ep 5, Three-Eyed Ragin, Leaf, and Hodor. Ep 6, I didn't write anything down. Ep 7, Brother Ray and the Villagers. Ep 8, let's see. We get Brendan Tully, the Waif. And then Ep 9, we get Rickon, Ramsey. And then 10, we lose Lancel. Oh gosh, Ep 10 was a lot. Grandmaster Pycelle, Lancel, High Sparrow, Marjorie, Loras Tyrell, Mace Tyrell, Kevin Lannister, Tommen. Then we lose Walter Rivers, Lothar Frey, and then Walter Frey.
You took your time.
Dude, you should see this list. It's ridiculous.
It's a big list.
I don't know if we lose. I feel like we lose so many big names this season too.
Did you? I didn't. I obviously had my own things to focus on there. By the way, making a great case for my manliness. Did you go through every single person in that sept? Let's see. We got Jim. We got Steven.
Steve. Earther.
Steve.
Bowen.
We got Steven number 1. We got Steven number 2. Tommen
again. Tommen.
Oh, poor Tommen.
Man, yeah, just a lot of people die. And again, a lot of really, unlike prior seasons where you lose main characters and you're like, fuck, this is actually kind of satisfying for some of these people to go.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace. Pour some out if you have a beverage that you can pour without destroying your computer. I'm going to pour it into my mouth.
Good.
I think maybe for our season 7, R.I.P., just putting it on record so I don't forget. Maybe a little dust in the wind.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I mean, season 8's recap is going to take, the RIP segment will take forever, because if George R. R. Martin is to believe, the end of the series just ends with snow blowing over everyone's graves.
Speaking of dust in the wind, if we do a little candle in the wind as well, that's another good sad song.
You guys see this Elton John movie preview?
Yeah, it looks great.
I was staring at it. I went and saw Captain Marvel, and it played. And I'm like looking at it, and there's this guy, and he shows up and he says things, and I'm like, I know you very well. I'm like picking out lines that he's saying. His voice is so familiar. His face is pretty, but it won't show it long enough. And then finally it gets on screen for like 5 seconds. It's Rob Stark. Rob Stark is like Elton's manager or something.
Oh, who plays Elton? Isn't the guy from the Golden whatever circle?
It's the dude from the Kingsman.
Kingsman, yeah.
Yeah, Taron Egerton. Well, like, could be Egerton. I don't know.
Anyway, I like those movies.
It looks kind of good.
Kingsman was good. The first one
was good. Second one was okay. It was fine.
But the first one I was really enjoying. I was excited because I thought it was a cool build up, and then the second one kind of killed off too many people. What's
his name is in the second one? Oberyn, Pedro Pascal. He traded in his spear for a laser whip, which, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Which then he will be trading a laser whip for a laser blaster.
It's true. Well,
as the Mandalorian.
You don't know. He could be wielding the Darksaber.
Good.
True.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is all just is this before or after Star Wars, do you know? The original trilogy?
I have no idea.
Maybe it's before. Maybe this is the origin story of the Sarlacc.
Of the Sarlacc? How did it get into the pit of Carcoon?
Do you think the
world
Disney
may never
streaming
know.
service is going to be worth getting?
Now that they've announced that literally every Disney movie that's ever been made is going to be on there, I think you can make the case for it.
Yeah. And the Star Wars, I feel like the Star Wars stuff they're going to do alone is going to be awesome. And then they have all the Marvel stuff. I just feel like there's... Ugh.
It will depend for sure on their series, but like the DC thing now, there's like I kind of want to see Titans, and other than that, I'm like, eh. And there's nothing really in the back catalog to entice me to jump in. No. But with Disney, it's like you get one or two good series in, and then just me knowing that I'll also get to watch any Disney movie I want, Star Wars,
Marvel,
yeah, I'm in.
ESPN.
I'm in.
Yeah, my only issue with this, which is obvious and it had to happen, is that at this point I'm gonna have to be buying so many damn streaming services to keep
Might
up.
as well have cable.
I might as well have just friggin' paid for cable.
It's true.
Yeah.
But
It is true.
I looked at getting the PS, what is the PlayStation View? Is that their service?
View, yeah.
But it's like $74
yeah,
to get
Any-
anything really. In my
anything
opinion.
with friggin' sports on it, you're gonna pay a pretty penny.
Do you guys have Spotify?
I do.
I do not.
Did you see this thing that they'll give you Hulu if you have Spotify?
So they give you Hulu, but it's with ads.
But yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'd much rather. So I'm isn't
few
the
extra dollars for no ads.
yeah?
But it's not a few extra dollars because it's like what, $7 for the Hulu with the ads, and it's what, 12 or something without the ads.
I don't
Something
know.
like that, yeah.
But you're now getting the Hulu for free just for having a Spotify account.
Yeah, which
So
is nice.
You're paying $12 extra dollars,
How much is Spotify?
I pay
$10
$10
a month.
Now, if you're a student though, you can get it for like $5.99, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Ugh, I miss all the student benefits.
Me too.
That half price Amazon Prime was beautiful.
So nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. Amazon Prime comes with like Amazon Music, but it's pretty garbage.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not the actual it comes with Prime Music. Amazon Music is okay,
And the
but
unlimited
I'm not going to
service,
pay
yeah,
for
it's
it.
pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
the unlimited stuff. But it's like
Did you ever use Audible
whatever.
with Amazon?
I have never listened to an audiobook.
Really? Mm-hmm. I have. I like them.
I
It's one of those.
gotta-
It's one of those things. Like when you work out, like I like listening to podcasts, and I'll listen to a book. So and all those things are fine.
Yeah, podcasts. I just have so many goddamn podcasts right now. I'm like a month behind on all of them, and I'm constantly. It's mostly just ours. I just have that.
I keep listening to ours over and over again
selfish
because
need
it's so
to,
good.
Repeat.
Yeah.
I actually don't listen to ours.
It's fine. Jenna does. That's what
Yeah,
counts.
Jenna
What's up,
does. She
Jenna girl? I saw
Hey
you.
girl, I saw her walk by.
She tells me what's funny and what's not. Mostly what I say is not funny. That's what she says.
Has she listened to our J Girl episode yet?
I'll ask her later. I'm not sure
Okay.
where she's at. She was also kind of waiting because she was also getting a little bummed out by the spoilers, and she running through this final season that's out. She didn't want any spoilers, so.
Do you think she's?
I respect the commitment to that, but if she doesn't go back and listen, you have to kill her.
Do you think she's hooked now to Game of Thrones?
I would say she wants to know what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take it. So I gotta be honest. I would like to roll into some superlatives here, but I'm having some trouble in trying to think who gained the most in this season of Game of Thrones. I kind of figure out that except for a few select people, everyone kind of gains shit in this season.
Yeah.
Don't they? Like Jon Snow. First of all, he gains his life. That's pretty big.
Boom.
And then he becomes king in the north. We go beyond that. He gets home back. I mean, Jon's big. Sansa,
No
her
longer
situation
getting
has
raped.
drastically improved. Even Theon's situation has drastically improved. Daenerys, She's finally setting sail. She's got a much more massive army. She's like tripled her forces. She's got all these ships. She
Cersei?
finally cracks down on Slaver's Bay. Yeah, Cersei gets rid of all of her enemies in one fell swoop, becomes straight up queen. It's nuts. Everyone is on the up and up this season.
So who do you think is the most interesting?
Well, that's the MVP award, Jeremy. Don't get things twisted.
Okay, so I think the one who gained the most in this, John.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
You were dead, and then you're alive. Winner. That's
Have we considered Tyrion?
Well, I mean, I wrote down Tyrion, but I had to scratch him out because I was struggling to make any argument because I don't think I talked about Tyrion at all in this last season.
Well, he wasn't. He just he filled the Davos role. You know, he was there to kind of be around and look pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jeremy in his notes was like kind of writing out his season recap, and then he had gained the most, MVP, lost the most, and then looked at his notes and realized it was Tyrion.
And I was like, well, I can't make that argument again. But
fair.
lost the most again.
Well,
so
hold on.
many
Let's hit gain the most.
Okay.
I think I got to vote for John.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to really.
Who would your runner up?
Daenerys,
Cersei.
but it's close. Yeah, it's really close.
It really is, yeah.
I think Cersei's just so confident, but I think she's like tread water in her mind.
Well, here's the thing. So she's queen of what? That's the problem. King's Landing is no longer the kingdoms are essentially broken up at this point. There's congratulations, you have this great city.
But yeah, she's still, and I don't give it to her. I give it to Dany over her just because she also did lose a kid again.
Sure.
Or like last kid,
Yeah.
which she just kind of seemed to shake off, but it's a strike. But yeah, I'd say so. John, the unanimous decision. Hans, will you please send the trophy his way?
Will already sent it actually.
Did you send Tyrion just I love you still, like a little heart, little something?
There's a Jeremy's trophy that I send out to every season to Tyrion.
Yeah, that's good.
It's just a postcard with Jeremy's face, and he flips it around. And it's just like, you up?
You up?
Oh, okay, Jeremy, you wanted to move on. I'll allow it.
Yeah. No. So Lost. Who dropped the ball in season 6?
Now I want to establish: are we considering dead people?
I know.
Or
So that's a hard.
Are they
thing.
beyond the realms of having lost because now they're dead? And who
So I
cares?
think it's interesting. I think we should remove dead people from the answer.
Okay.
I think we should say who is still in the game, but is clearly losing the most in this season.
Lena Tyrell.
That was my vote.
Yeah, it's a good one.
She seems to bounce back kind of quickly, but she's in rough shape.
And I could also argue. I mean, Yara, she thinks she's gonna get the crown, doesn't get it, but then of course Dany makes her. They become friends, and that kind of solidifies her, at least in the future. Currently,
Yeah. And plus, she fucked the tits off that one girl. Like,
she did.
She
fucked
did.
the tits off
She's
her.
having a great season.
I'm actually surprised we didn't throw her in for the gain the most.
She gained a pair of tits. They were just flopping around afterwards. He's like, I'll pick these up, put them in my bag.
I feel like Sansa does something interesting in this episode or in this season. She's in a shitty situation. She goes to a great situation, but then she's so negative in that great situation, you almost don't know if she's happy.
Is she negative?
I feel like
we kind of start to get into that next season. You get a little bit of
you get a little bit of it right now, and so, and where do you think of Littlefinger? Where would you put him? I mean, he's you don't really know where he's at currently.
I would put him in the ground if you gave me a choice.
I know, but do you think he's in a positive position at the end of this season?
I think that he is also treading water, but never. He's pretty much just got one card to play at this point.
Yeah.
And so I think that he's in a bad situation, But that card is putting him in a good situation. So as long as it's a viable card.
Oh, I know my answer. I don't know why I didn't
fine.
read sub. I'm gonna go Massandra.
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 It's been a while since we've gotten one of those.
Massandra. Massandra. Massandre.
Are you talking about Melisandre or
Melisand-
Missandei?
No, it's Melisandre. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She has.
Red woman.
She. I mean, what does she have?
Probably early onset Alzheimer's.
I mean, John kicks her out at the end. She has her Lord of Light. That's
Probably
it.
varicose veins.
Oh my God, yeah, but those tits are fantastic.
Both versions.
Both versions. Those are still high riders.
That's respect. That's how you know you're a dad. You can appreciate that.
Yep.
I don't think she lost the most. I think that she lost a lot. Did Stannis die in this season? He did not. So
I think it's got to go to Olenna. She lost everybody, everything.
we'll send out 2 trophies. Send a slightly bigger one to Olenna Tyrell,
Will do.
and then send out 5 more. One to
Missandra.
Missandra.
Missandre.
Be thinking about your MVPs. I want to just go ahead and say that if you guys missed our season 6 episode 9 recap, you should go back and hit that. We touched on Battle of the Bastards, big ol' episode with Daniel Newkirk from Damage Control Podcasting, and he sent me some texts a couple days ago, and I wasn't going to talk about them at all because it really makes us look like we're not good at breaking things down. But it was very insightful, so I thought I'd bring it here. He said, I had some thoughts about episode 9 yesterday and today. It really draws a lot of parallels to the Siege of Troy. You have a general who sacrificed his daughter to win the battle. Snow is Odysseus. Blah, blah, blah. The giant is Achilles, this titan who gets killed by an arrow to a weak point. Ramsay is Paris, rich kid who thinks he's entitled to the treasure, or Sansa in this case. He's like, if you really kind of squint, make it work. The Trojan horse is like the Knights of the Vale who just come out of nowhere to break the walls or the shields and blah 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 blah. Well done.
Well done indeed.
That's just what education does to you right there.
I suppose so. Yeah. What a nerd.
What a nerd.
Freaking nerd. Brad, I'll tell you what though, Brad Pitt looking way better than that giant. So
It's true.
I don't even know what this guy's talking about.
that giant has never been people's sexiest man alive, let alone twice.
So tell him I don't see it.
MVPs for season 6. Do you guys have concrete thoughts on this?
Arya.
I've been having a tough time with it, really.
Arya, I want to vote for Arya just because she finally gets her moment, right?
Yeah. There's not a ton to it. I mean, it is interspersed throughout the season, but it's little moments for the most part, but it is very good.
Yeah, because she goes through a lot. I mean, so she
Yeah.
kills the waif. You know, she kind of realizes that she is no one, but is always going to be Arya, and then starts methodically going after her list, which makes you just super excited at the end of the season for next season.
True. Yeah, for sure.
So while she didn't maybe gain the most, or whatever, her story, especially at the end when you realize like what she's going to, it's so good. It's so good.
Hans?
Yeah, my very first thought right off the bat, gut reaction, was John, but then I immediately almost say no because a lot of the decisions he made, I mean, he was good for some of it, but granted, he lost Battle of the Bastards if it wasn't for Sansa.
True.
And that was really like, I don't know. So I would have a hard time officially saying him just because, again, a lot of things had to come together for him to get where he was. And he didn't really make a lot of great choices.
But I just want to be clear for the people. You're not considering giving the award to Sansa Stark.
No, not at all. I'm saying
she's my second person.
I'm saying she was just the reason why he even made it for that one thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I do like Arya. And who else? Do you have any other thoughts, Tony?
I think you can make a case for Daenerys this season. Sure.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge, again, in the scheme of super uber main characters, Daenerys is not my pick. But if ever I was going to give it to her, it'd probably be here.
Yeah. I feel like we might have given it to her one season.
We may have.
I can't remember.
It's very possible. Who can recall?
Another person we didn't really talk about much, but has an interesting arc in this season, Bran.
Yeah. We get back into Bran. We did a season without him.
Yeah.
And he returns. He sees some visions.
He sees some cool shit. Some of the best stuff we see.
It's tough for me because I love Bran as a character. I love what I think the implications of his powers are. I love that he's not really Bran anymore. It adds a whole weird dynamic to everything. But it's hard for me to say that it's like the best part of anything. Because it kind of I think it serves to make everything better, but it on its own, like I get why people don't like Bran, because he's just kind of weird.
So I just think the whole three-eyed raven with Bran, knowing that the children made the White Walkers, we think and we're making a giant assumption that this is a good thing, that they're good. It's going to be so interesting to see if this turns into him being the evil, right? Bran being evil. Like, what if that's the arc that goes that direction? I don't know. I think that has a lot of potential. And I've read some of the stuff out there that think that maybe that's the way it's going to go. And I find it interesting. So
save it for our conspiracy episode.
Conspiracy stuff, yeah.
We break all the eggs.
Well, yeah, we'll have a what ifs conspiracy episode. I have one more to throw out there. Given that I think Jon's name is in the running.
Ygritte. I agree.
In a way.
Ygritte was strong.
So what about Tormund? Because I feel like the way he's leading the wildlings and assisting Jon and kind of putting his, because I mean he's acting very, very mature, right? And we saw a little bit of this in season 5, but I mean he's really stepped up to the plate as far as like being the leader of the wildlings, working with Jon, helping Jon kind of turning into this knowing that the real fight is coming against the White Walkers and all that stuff. I don't know. I feel like he did a lot this season that would even throw him in the running.
No. Yeah, maybe. I mean, but he does kind of get shut down by Brienne hard.
That is true.
Is that a strike against him? I don't know. Those beautiful looks, though. It is some of my favorite stuff in this season. I think you got a little Tormund crush. You were going on a little Tormund rant the other day too.
He's a good character. Man.
It's that
he
ginger.
is a good character, yeah, for sure.
Good character. But in all fairness, I think I would have to vote my official vote. I'd probably have to be Daenerys.
I'm gonna give it to Daenerys too, just because I remember. Shit. Literally, Jon has like the whole episode 9 is so great, and his reunion with Sansa is awesome. But Daenerys, I just remember the first time I saw episode 10, finally seeing Daenerys set sail for Westeros was so satisfying. Because it felt like it was never going to happen. You're like, something is going to get in the way, and it's never going to happen. And the fact that like we ended the season on it was like I remember being so hyped. So just because I imagine Jon will probably get it at some point down the road again from me over Daenerys, I will throw my vote for her today.
Did anyone, and just to be completely fair too, not to overlook anyone, did anyone want to throw their vote for, I know he died, but that doesn't mean, you can't have a good season. Does anyone want to throw their vote for Kevin?
Oh, shit. Kevin had what a great season. He had like 4, maybe 5 lines.
He really crushed it though.
He did crush it. It's true. Or Maester Pycelle. I mean, we got a lot of people that we're just completely overlooking. Lyanna Mormont?
She was actually very good. Not MVP status, but her one
I
scene.
changed my mind. I changed my
fantastic.
mind again. I'm giving it to John. Because the thing with Dany that I love so much, like right before we get the King of the North thing, which is almost equally as satisfying. So I give it to John.
Actually, I think Hans's argument in the Battle of the Bastards is why John can't win. Because John loses. John should have died again.
Yeah, but he did.
I'm just saying, like, he make...
Yeah, but it was his mistake.
He
It wasn't
keeps
like
making mistakes.
Yeah.
And so when you say you're the most valuable player, you're not. You are getting by on the goodwill of others.
But he didn't die, which means the Lord of Light has a plan for him.
So you say an MVP, Lord of Light?
I'm so high in this bit. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. The Lord of Light, bro. Lord of Light, bro.
So Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin.
Kevin?
Send it
Everyone,
out to Kevin Lannister.
everyone in consensus? Kevin?
Yeah. Ooh. And then those are the three constants. But if you have any other superlatives, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Oh, I'm holding my peace, all right.
You've been warned. Okay, it's time to place things where they belong in the echelon of Thrones glory. Is this the best season? Is it the worst season? Does it fall somewhere in the midsection? Right around here. Right around these abs that I've totally got.
Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we forgot one of the most important consistent trophy.
You held your peace.
Best jugglies.
You
Speaking
held
of holding
your
pieces,
peace, sir.
It involves holding pieces. Best jugglies.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so let's see. We missed episode 2, episode 6, episode 9, and episode 10. So just like the past couple seasons, 4 juggly-less episodes.
So to show that we're...
And a couple of ours were softcore at best.
Yeah.
I'll run through them here, and you guys think about who you'd vote for. In episode 1, we get Melisandre, and then Melisandre.
Melisandre. Mm-hmm.
So however you'd vote for that. In episode 3, we get Jon. Kind of. We get a little butt of Jon.
Okay.
That's it. In episode 4, we see Dany. All of Dany.
High fives. Everyone give them.
In episode 5, we get our acting friends, fake Sansa and fake Joffrey. In episode 7, we get some ladies in Volantis. One currently Titlips. Episode 8, we see. Did you ever go back episode 8 and see the Hound's penis?
No, I didn't.
You're never going to be able to properly vote.
Yeah.
We get to see the Hound's penis.
I'll have to recuse myself from voting.
And that is all. That is it. That's what we get.
Man, that was a weak season.
It was.
I'm saying.
But we get 2 good ones. And I think this is where it's going to lie. Dany, yes. But then the Hound's peni is pretty great.
It's pretty quick. It's pretty odd. It's a weird choice.
It's a weird choice.
Is it better than fake Joffrey's penis, though?
Oh,
That was close up.
It
yeah.
was close up. It was a decently lengthed shot.
Who are we kidding? Dany, fully exposed, winner.
I'll give it to you.
Chicken
I
dinner.
I think it's the correct answer.
All right. Send the golden boob-shaped trophy out.
But the Hound gives my run
Guys,
up because
here's the real tragedy of the season. We lost the possibility of getting any better
Hodor.
Hodor juggling moments
I know.
throughout the rest of the show. Unless we get white Hodor.
Oh God. Which we don't know. We could
Undead
totally
Hodor?
get. You think it's gonna happen?
I don't know.
I have some thoughts on not only that but other things, which I'll save for our conspiracy episode.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
Are they penis related?
No.
Ugh.
God, I hope Hodor is straight up nude.
I'm surprised we never said Hodor, and again, not the whole
died.
season. It's hard when you're stuck to a storyline that isn't, a very, very main point throughout the season. But Hodor,
Yeah.
MVP status for at least one episode, I think.
Maybe we should have added a best supporting cast category.
Yeah. Because obviously it's hard to vote for him when there's these big players like John, Daenerys, Kevin.
Kevin.
But
Tough.
for at least like an episode or a good chunk of that storyline, I mean, Hodor was MVP status for real. So I think at least a shout out deserved.
He held that door. He held that door.
Did indeed.
Guys, I need you to really start concentrating here. Putting your minds in overtime. We got to rank season 6 here. I will give you a quick reminder on how you voted last season, but once
Please.
again, you are not beholden to these rankings. Jeremy, you voted in sheer disregard for everyone else's opinions. Season 4 as the best, then 3, 5, 2, and 1. Hans, you went season 3, season 1, 4, 2, and 5. And I had the same, but I flopped 4 and 1. So 3, 4, 1, 2, 5.
Okay.
And again, you can change how things sit, but equally as important, we have to add 6 somewhere to that lineup.
Okay.
Where are you going to put it?
I
got
do want to just clarify too. When Tony says Jeremy's rankings were, just against everyone else's or with no regard to everyone else's, he is not just referring to us. He's referring to the entire planet.
That's right, bitches. And I'm gonna shake it up
Hey,
again.
you've got to have your own. You've got to have your own thoughts, though. And there's nothing that quite tells you like you have the beautiful human free will, like being totally wrong.
So I think 6 is my new number 1.
It goes on top.
Goes on top.
Okay. And as for the rest,
I would do 6, 3,
okay.
4,
Okay.
and then 5, 3, 2, 1.
3 is your number 2 already.
Oh, sorry. 2, 1. Then sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So still with number 1 on the very bottom.
Yes.
Still with 5, way higher than it has any right to be. But switching 3 and 4.
Yeah. I don't know why I made that mistake. I still think 6 and 3 are the best. And the reason why I like 6 is because that Ep 4 was the best Ep 4 we've ever had.
It was good. It was good. Yeah, I think you mean episode 3. I think that's the episode you made the claim on.
Was that the
one?
one?
Case that,
one of
we made the
those
case
that was
that Joffrey
crazy.
died in episode 3.
Oh, yeah. Was that it?
You're talking about the one where John
let me
comes
look.
back from the dead?
Oathbreaker?
Yeah. Is that the one? Or was it the Daenerys one that you liked?
No. I think it is Oathbreaker.
Okay. It's a good episode.
It may. I mean, what's for something? I was looking at my notes. Hold on.
What's the title of it?
No, I gotta go back to my notes.
4 is the one where Dany burns down that thing. And Sansa and Jon reunite. Tormund gives the googly eyes to Brienne.
Oh, Google.
Which is a great episode as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, the season has so much.
I'm gonna while you're looking at that, I'm gonna give my official rankings.
Regale me.
6, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5.
Okay, so not changing anything, just putting 6 right on the tippy top.
Yep.
In disbelief of myself, I am also throwing 6 on top. I really didn't want to, because even looking back, I'm like, oh god, 3 is just
So
it's
good.
so solid, and it's
So
just so
solid.
iconic. It has so many great moments, really good turns, but this season might be the hardest hitting one consistently thus far, which is really an impressive feat. Even 3 had a few real bad episodes. So 6, 3, 4, 1, 2, 5 at the bottom where it belongs.
No, it's not that bad. I mean,
Oh.
it's only the worst.
It's only the worst. It's only the worst. Okay. So we're all pretty much Jeremy shaking things up a little bit. We don't have Rob in here to give his updated rankings, but we will, I'm sure, try to get him in for the Season 7 recap. But as for this one, do you guys have anything else that you want to make mention of before we start Season 7 next week?
I don't know. I'm pumped. This season's got me jacked.
I think like...
Can you elaborate?
What do you mean?
I didn't recognize that adjective.
Jacked?
Like,
Yeah.
what else is jacked in your life?
No, what does it mean?
To just be pumped up? Jacked up?
Okay.
To get jacked?
Well,
to jack someone? I don't know. Do you jack someone?
Just like hyped?
okay. All right. It just threw me.
Masturbatory?
There we go. Oh, Season 6. Well done. You won our hearts. You won our minds. And we look forward to kicking things off on Monday once again. Guys, parting words? Any advice for the kids?
Thanks, Olivia. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Olivia. Well done.
Well done.
I kind of forgive you. Don't try and backpedal and pretend like you misspelled it. We know what happened.
I think we obviously misspoke. I feel so bad. I apologize. MVP of this season, Olivia, for emailing us.
Olivia.
Our first email.
First email.
Our season ranking goes Olivia 6-3. Well done. Are you down with GOT?
Yeah, you know me. They're tough. I mean, sometimes
Too
it's
much
too.
thinking. It's too much to remember.
I haven't. Some of these episodes I have not watched in a good while. It's hard to think back.
You were ahead a lot for Season 6.
Yeah, I really was. And Season 7 is going to be worse. I've already watched it.
You're done.
Yeah.
I'm rewatching it on like the big screen, and it is fucking fantastic.
Oh yeah, how is the setup now that it's all official?
Oh, dude, yeah. Let me. Well, actually, give me a minute, and I will throw out some crazy shit.
It's gonna look terrible through the computer, and this visual gag is not gonna work at all on the podcast.
Yeah. No. Okay, it's great. You can see it a little bit, maybe.
No.
So.
Oh. It does look nice.
So then that.
For our listeners, it looks nice.
It looks nice. Would you classify that as a couch or a love seat? What are we?
No, so the love seat's in the middle. We have the couch on the side because we are trying to decide if we're going to order. So the problem with doing like the theater seats, I don't want a platform, right, for the second row. But we found this company that builds the second row seats with like a 7-inch lift on them. So then the seat itself is raised.
I'm familiar with the 7-inch lift.
Yeah, I know you are. Those heels that you wear are fantastic.
Exactly.
Tony, get it. Tony.
Did you know that I did drag once upon a time?
No.
You're not helping your case here, Tony.
But do tell now.
I did one drag show once for charity. It wasn't my fault. People came on the radio to promote it, and then on air asked me
to do it.
They're like, "You're gonna be out, right?" And I felt weird saying no because it was for breast cancer.
That's fair.
So
it was called Cancer's a Drag, of course. And so I had to put together everything in a day. Ooh. So thankfully, my intern at the time wore the same shoes size as I did. So I borrowed her 5-inch heels.
Ooh.
Which I walked in just fine. Once the dancing began, I did fall twice.
Yeah, I feel like women bitch a lot about heels, but everyone knows it's not that bad.
Yeah. It was kind of fun. It was empowering. I had a beautiful red wig, beautiful green dress, Christmas in a jar, and my name was Carmen Get It. And I took second place, by the way. Mandana took number 1, and God, did he deserve it, because for the first 20 minutes of him being around me, I just thought he was a woman. And he wasn't, but he was hot.
This is the best episode ever.
Was your song that you sang to, Are You Ready, Carmen Get It?
No, because there is only one song that I will ever dance to, in drag or otherwise, in some sort of extremely sexual capacity.
Born
And that
This
is
Way.
that is the song Cake by Rihanna. There is a full video of my performance, actually, somewhere on the internet.
Oh yeah, we gotta throw that up on Twitter.
I'm not going to tell you where, but maybe you could find it.
Email us at Thrones and Scones.
Oh my gosh, guys, did you see this thing earlier in the week that MySpace lost all this data? Do you see this?
No.
So MySpace lost about 12 years worth of music, photos, and videos. There's this whole conspiracy that it was like on purpose because it's just a bunch of inactive accounts and it would probably cost them so much to migrate servers like they were doing. So the theory is that they just dumped it. But there's it's not been proven. I don't want to spout negative conjecture. But Hans, I know, is familiar because he was a part a little bit. Jeremy might not be familiar, but in high school, I was famous as fuck online with this well-known, globally recognized program called The Ryan and Tony Show. The first 6 episodes of which happened exclusively on MySpace and are now lost forever.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
And we can never get them back. It's heartbreaking.
So you've done this professionally and then this whole podcasting thing for quite some time then.
Yeah. Well, this was high quality videos and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Interviews or no?
What?
Like,
I think you are missing the tone. This was 15-year-olds being ridiculous and trying their hand at sketch comedy.
Nice.
No, it wasn't nice, but
It's on
Hans
MySpace. It was fantastic.
yeah, and MySpace, it was great. Hans was in an episode. We won a school competition for our episode on diversity, which was really just about racism.
Which was exactly the opposite of diversity.
But we didn't have a lot of competition, so we won.
The school is still facing charges.
Literally, it was a terrible, like the fact that we actually showed it in an assembly at school my favorite part in the whole episode is we're going through and like showing that it's okay to be friends with other races of people, which again, not really what we were supposed to be focused on. And it's this guy, Christian, who had curly hair, and he sat down and he's like, I'm Jewish. And Hans sat on his lap and went, I'm German. And they went, and we're friends. It was terrible. It was God. Just so cringy. And great.